It's pizza day, as is every day, and it's pizza time of pizza day. You might be wondering why Eric started on that sign over there that says kyde del Scalator.
I don't remember.
And Scalator is actually the name of our pizza, and the pizza includes spinach and sausage. I chose this pizza because of the sausage, but I chose the little pizzeria that we went to because people said that it was named after bridges and things like that, like parts of the city. When I went in, I just picked a name at random, and then I looked on the map to find out where Scalator was, because I was like, we're gonna get the pizza, and then we'll just walk to wherever that is, and hopefully it wasn't that far away, and this one was not far away. We actually went in the wrong direction, and then we realized where that actual road is, and we just walked here. So we're at the inspiration, or probably a small chunk of the inspiration of that food. I don't know. Nothing here's really making me think like sausage and spinach, but you know, when eating Scalator, maybe you should be on Scalator.
We got here and we realized that they hadn't cut the pizza. So Katie ripped it with her hands.
We had mentioned that we didn't know somebody got married. That's what we think those bells are. We had mentioned that we don't know if you're supposed to pick it up with your hands or you're supposed to eat it with knife and fork. Some places slice, some places don't. This was a didn't slice it, and we did not come properly prepared. Cheese is on point.
Is it a white sauce or a red sauce?
It must be a white sauce, because I mean I don't see any red sauce. So this will be our first white sauce pizza.
You look like a monster with that giant
yeah.
thing.
And the sauce is just there to make things a little wet. I wouldn't say that it stands out super much. It's a little bit soggy, a little bit in the soggy department, but it's got quite a thick crust. So that's beneficial. I think the spinach is one of the things that's bringing it down. I didn't know the spinach was going to be there.
You're saying it's not good. You don't like the spinach.
Flavor of the spinach is fine, but I think that it brings too much wetness to the pizza.
I'm excited about these little pieces of like, what is this, sausage or something? Yeah. I'm also excited about this view.
Every time that we get pizza, I think of a new thing to add to trying to understand eating in Italy, or at least in Venice. We talked about slicing and knife and fork and things like that. Another thing that I find quite interesting is when you go to a restaurant, is there going to be a service fee? Is there going to be a seating fee? And if you get takeout, do you not have to worry about that? So you can see that we've come to the conclusion that takeout is probably the best thing to do. Then you don't have to worry about those fees possibly happening. We got this pizza, and then I checked on the menu for the restaurant. They charge a €2.50 seating fee per person. So by taking this out of their restaurant, we saved €5. And that's pretty good for people who travel on a budget.
Doesn't look like a library. Open squares like this are pretty common in Venice, and we've noticed that a lot of them have got clock tower style buildings that are in them. And something that's kind of noteworthy about them is that the clocks don't run on like a 1 to 12 thing. It's actually a 24-hour clock. And I can't recall ever seeing that before, especially in analog format. Sometimes I feel like I'm back in Japan. Just these moments where things are just a little bit too low. This is, without a doubt, the biggest toilet flusher I have ever seen.
Is there seriously enough people making the bad decision to buy these masks? Who's buying these masks? I see there's people in the stores. Are they out of their minds? Like, one, you're never going to use this. Where are people putting this? What is the end game for this item?
I'll show you the end game, baby.
Oh, don't. All right. We found some that we do know what the end game is.
In a lot of the countries we've been in, there has been a push to hide cigarettes away from easy purchase, or they'll put like packaging and stuff on them that has got like, you know, like a rotted lung or like somebody's like decaying throat, like really gruesome stuff to try to like deter cigarette smoking. And that's something that we've seen like quite a few countries, even in Asia and in the UK. There was this campaign basically by the government where you couldn't even display in a convenience store the cigarettes. They were all behind like this big nondescript wall, basically. They have to lift up to get the cigarettes out. And it's like just try to probably curb people getting into the habit. Here it's a little bit different. We've noticed that almost every time you hear somebody on the street speaking Italian, they're smoking a cigarette as well. And we came across something that I've never seen before, and this is a digital screen vending machine that sells cigarettes. When I was a kid, you could buy like cigarettes out of vending machines, and not me, but like, you know, other people could buy cigarettes out of vending machines like at the mall or something like that, or at bars and stuff in the States, but that got done away with like in the 90s. So to see something that's like selling cigarettes but also like modern with screens and talking seems really like strange to me. And you can also buy, it'll sell just packs of cigarettes. It looks like you can buy rolling papers and maybe like loose tobacco. And then oddly enough, you can also buy SIM cards. Which I guess is kind of handy. So in a way, this is a bit like a convenience store that you can get to all the time, which is not something we've seen anywhere else inside of Venice.
I don't know if we've found like a new kind of store, but this store has deli meats, sweet treats, and alcohol. That might be all that you need. The reason that I stopped is because I wanted to get a street cannoli. I'm sure that you can go to restaurants and get cannolis that are probably way better than this and probably way more expensive, but for €1.20, I want to give this guy a try. I see him on the street, he's hanging out. I want to try it. It comes in chocolate, did you know that? And also there's a butt. I didn't know there was a butt. Give it a try.
Sei uno, sei uno. Non ci mangiamo.
I'm in. Got choked up there. This street cannoli's trying to kill me. I'm anti-cannoli. Like when I go to an Italian restaurant, people will order cannolis and I always just go, well, that was a waste. You've made the wrong choice. This is the best one I've ever had.
Is it a waste?
No. The price is perfect. The flavor is great. One of the things when you get a cannoli in America, this outside part is so incredibly hard. But what I would equate this to is those like little breaded tubes that have some sort of like sweet filling on the inside and they just break. Do you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying that?
Colons?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, just like decadent. Yeah, that's the best way that I can think to describe it. I'm gonna put this to the side and we can show what you got, which was a spumoni. And I was happy that I was able to pronounce that. She knew what I wanted. She got this, it feels different than I thought it was gonna feel. Here you go. It's for you!
I expected this to be hard. Is that what you were thinking about? Yeah.
When it squished in my hand, I felt weird about that.
It's almost like a marshmallow.
Is it a marshmallow?
It's just a marshmallow.
You got a marshmallow ribbon.
It's a really cool looking marshmallow. You can smack somebody with it.
We just got bombarded by a bridal party that's walking away right now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's a video. Would you like to say hello? Hi. Grazie. Wow, that was intense. We were just standing here cannoliing and eating marshmallows, and the whole crowd came up and they just started saying stuff to us in Italian. It was obvious that it was a bridal party, but I didn't really understand what was supposed to happen, and one of the girls in the group said, if you give us money, we'll give you a bridal biscuit. So now I have a bridal biscuit, and they've got my money. I don't know, but they were really nice, and it just seems like they're going around having fun. Okay. Whew. If you pass a crowd of people and they all seem to be Italian talking to somebody in a boat, and all the Italian people are fascinated with the people in the boat, you should figure out what's going on in the boat. And these are squid fishers. That was the best I could come up with.
Squidderman?
These are squiddermen. And at first we couldn't really figure out what was going on. They're just cleaning their nets. So they're taking out this green stuff and they don't want it, so we don't understand that. What I actually cued me into it was the man's hands. They have black ink on them. And I sat there thinking, well, what's in the ocean that's got black ink? And then it clicked, and then I saw the box of squid that they have in their boat. So, these are squiddermen. Everybody's fascinated.
Però non butto via nel caffè perché io porto il gatto, che ho gatti in casa. Magari uno sa, perché se questi sono Chicchetti, mi dicevo.
I've never been in a room with that many Jewish people. That was a lot of Jewish people. It was a lot of energy. All of them had an energy that was just like, I don't even know how to describe it.
You've
like,
been to Israel, dude.
I know, but it was a very small room, and there were suites involved, and people were getting taxis, and things were happening, and most people were not speaking in a language that I understood.
And it was weird, they were code switching, because sometimes they were speaking English to each other, and sometimes something not English, and then it was going back and forth, and it was nuts.
So we've gone to a place called Gam Gam, and Gam Gam has a restaurant, but it also has a little sweet shop that we found, and we decided we'll just get some sweets and take them over to the Jewish Ghetto that is here in Venice.
And we just actually learned that Venice had a Jewish ghetto, and it turns out, according to Wikipedia, that it's the oldest one in the world. So for a very, very long time, that the Jewish people that have lived in this area have been essentially segregated into a different part of the city. Modern day, most of the Jewish people that live around here don't actually live inside the ghetto anymore, and it seems to be more of like a museum piece in a lot of ways. But there are a couple of synagogues that still operate, and like Katie mentioned, this Gam Gam restaurant is apparently a historically old restaurant that is still functioning and doing kosher food and things like that. You could easily walk through this little area and not even know that you were in something that was different in that sense than the rest of the city.
I really expected to like see some sort of camp situation, you know, like what you think about
image you have from a World War II
image
ghetto
that you have. So when we crossed the bridge, and I was just like, oh,
it just looks like another square.
Walking?
Yeah.
No, you're here. Oh.
And there's a couple of little tells. There's like a Star of David that I saw, and there's some Hebrew written on a wall in a couple of different places. And just the name in itself, it uses the word ghetto. If you weren't looking for this at all, it would be very easy to walk through this and be like, oh, is this another like nice little square in the city? And I think the reason that it doesn't have the things that you were thinking of is I don't think that during World War II, this was a ghetto, like a World War II ghetto. I think there was segregation, and then when Italy joined forces with Germany, I think all of the people just got deported, like the concentration camps. So I don't think this was a holding place during World War II. I think that the term ghetto in this particular case comes from like way, way, way before that.
Okay.
Like hundreds and hundreds of years predating the World War II and stuff. So I think that might be what it is. And also, it's probably just because there's not very many Jewish people that live here anymore. I think it's just kind of, in a sense, assimilated to how the city would have normally looked.
Yeah, and just become a part of Venice as opposed to something that's focal point is really hardcore Jewish.
Yeah, but there's definitely a Jewish community around today.
I saw all of them. They were all in that building.
They were all in that little building. And I guess you just looked up online like what some Jewish churches
Yeah, because we were sitting here and we realized, oh, there's a little a Jewish sweetery down the street, and we ended up getting one of these, and I think it's a ruglach.
Who knows,
I don't know
who knows how to pronounce it. Yeah.
I don't know if my ha is in the right place, but we're gonna try it.
Okay.
Found out that it's tended to be made with cream cheese dough, which I don't know if I've ever even had.
It smells like cinnamon.
Oh, it smells like cereal.
Cinnamon. I smell cinnamon. You must be. You smell the Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's real good.
I don't need more right now. But yeah, okay. So it's not very buttery the way a pastry it's kind of a harder pastry that crumbles.
This did not come out as good as the other ones that I saw in the pictures.
But the cinnamon and sugar on that makes it. I mean, cinnamon and sugar. It's amazing.
Yeah, but the dough is also quite crumbly, and not crumbly in a way where I feel like it's really buttery.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just my thoughts on that.
Do you remember what this one is called?
This one is Hammond Tashin.
And this one seemed like it had a bunch of different flavors.
Really bad pronunciation.
She had different things she could put inside of it. She asked the guy what flavors he wanted, and he was telling her
one I heard
fruits
was
or something.
Strawberry.
Yeah.
This one. Blackberry.
Blackberry.
The outside is outstanding.
Dude, that's really good too.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go back and go to the restaurant when we're hungry for a meal.
I've already thought about that.
That's killer.
Really, really
Is there anything
good.
else in here? What else are we working
There's
with?
a sugary one. I got something scary.
Oh.
I don't know what it's called. And the stuff inside is squishy.
It's squishy?
Yeah, it's squishy.
Is it like a dried apple or something?
It's apple. Yep. So it's kind of like a little apple tart.
You help me out?
Yep. Help you out. Help myself out. There you go. Little strange that it's cold.
Oh, dude, that's really good too. They're really cheap too, weren't they? Like €0.50 each or something like that, or less?
The 3 in the bag are €0.50. I think this was €1.50.
That's
The other
pretty
ones,
good.
I think the other ones were better than this one. And this was just, I honestly thought it was onions inside. And I was like, just get it. It looks weird. And it did and isn't. To me, a little bit weird. You like it?
Yeah, I think it's good.
I think I liked the rugelach.
The one with the cinnamon?
Rugelach. I really hope that's how you're supposed to say it. If not, I'm really sorry. I should have asked. During our rowing lesson, Sophia told us that this island out here is just a cemetery. And we find ourselves in really odd cemeteries or amazing cemeteries like the Necropolis in Glasgow. And this looks like a really cool cemetery, island thing. But you can't get out to it unless you want to get a water taxi. And we found out that water taxis are extremely expensive. Bob Barker guy got off of one and we heard he had to pay like €70. We don't know how far he went, but we're pretty sure he didn't go very far. And we won't be riding over to that one because it's gonna cost a fortune. But Eric says if I try to swim over there, I'll get there one way or the other.
We've come into a place that's pretty wild looking, right off the canal. Well, everything is right off the canal here, but this space is really, really close to the canal. And I think it's a bookstore.
Yeah, it's Libreria Acqua Alta.
What's you
And I
said?
think means library high tide. I'm not completely sure, but it could, or high water.
Come in. It just sort of feels like you're like hoarder grandma's house or something, but instead of just stuffed full of books,
Yeah,
like books and
tons
books and books.
tons of books.
And it's not clear. Like maybe you can buy books here. It's kind of
I saw a
strange.
girl. She's got a register.
Yeah,
I
there's a
don't know
girl
what
with
she's
a
selling.
register, but like the way that all the books are lined up, like just look at this. Like you can't see the sides of any of them. Like how would you pick this book that's way down
This
here?
is the one I want.
You know, like is there any organization that's going on? It seems really chaotic.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's overwhelming.
I'm glad I'm not looking for a specific thing
Yeah.
because it would be impossible. And it's narrow in here and it's kind of like, kind of small. There's a couple of rooms, but it would be huge if there were no books, but there are books. And they have put boats, like an entire gondola in the middle of it and then filled it with books.
It's very cool.
Pizza of the daytime. We found another place that has got reasonable recommendations. So we went over there and got another pizza to go. And I'm starting to feel this like eating the pizza outside by the river thing.
Oh, well, this one has saved us €5
Yeah.
for not sitting inside.
For just not sitting inside. Because
Yeah.
there's seat fees like at almost all the restaurants in the city.
And that includes some bread.
Yeah,
I think.
sometimes, but I mean, like, not €5 worth of bread, like you can go to the supermarket and get a lot of bread. And like,
Yeah.
when you sit inside the restaurant, you don't get to sit outside and go down this magical little alleyway and pop out and see this incredible square over this beautiful canal.
Yeah.
So like, I almost feel like when you are paying that seat fee, you're paying to miss out on what you could be just sitting outside and seeing.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. And maybe we're looking like scrubs, but we found a little private area and our, pizza that we got is a vegetarian pizza that Katie then
Katie
put
put meat all
on
over
top
it.
of. And what's the name of this meat you said?
It's called speck.
Speck.
And I didn't know what speck was until a couple days ago when we had like a random meat platter, and I kind of just figured out that speck was a hard sausage.
Is it a hard
That's
sausage?
what I'm going to call it, is
Okay,
a
fair
hard
enough.
sausage.
And they
I don't know
slice-
if that's a technical term or like a pornographic term. I'm not really sure.
They put it in these like thin, long slices on the pizza, and definitely undid the vegetarianist in it, but maybe made it a little more exciting in another way. Also of note, they cut this pizza for us.
The guy came out and he was handing it to me. He was like, "You want us to slice it?"
Like, yes,
Yes,
please.
yes,
Please, because we don't have to tear it apart with our hands
Because
like yesterday.
yesterday it was a bit messy. Again, we got a bit of a droop, but
Seems to be the thing that happens.
whoa, tangy. The pepper's real fresh. The speck is good, but it's not like a spicy sausage in any way. It's just a good meat that has a little bit of, you're gonna chew it a little bit, which I like.
How's the cheese doing?
Like I think too. Probably had a better cheese experience, but I think
Yeah.
that the sauce, the freshness of the ingredients are quite good. The crust is super duper thin.
Yeah.
That's kind of a surprising feature. Probably not the best that I've had, but
Not the worst.
no.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
That one that we had that is our favorite so far is going to be hard to top, I think. We got to go back there, dude. Aside from one corner of the islands that Venice encompasses, there are no automobiles, there are no bicycles, there are no motorbikes, there are no cars. In that little area, there's a little area for buses to come, and that's about it. So the whole city has to function on foot power or water power. And you see some things that are built specifically maybe for the area that are to help facilitate the daily operations of things. Because things have to come in and things have to go out. So you're gonna have goods and stuff that have to come in, you're gonna have construction materials that have to come in, and some of the stuff can be huge and bulky. And in this case, this boat that's next to me is like a crane boat that they built that they are using to bring maybe construction materials in, or maybe these pallets of just kegs that are, I don't know, maybe full of wine, who knows? Seeing crazier things now. So they've got these, it's a narrow boat that looks like it was built specifically for this city because it has to be able to get down the narrow passageways and stuff. And another thing that we didn't really consider is that they've got to be able to move trash out of the city. And that means that they're gonna have to go to every single house in every single business, and they're gonna have to collect the trash by hand and then wheel it places. And that's what we saw dudes doing. It looks like it's recycling day, and they're collecting a bunch of cardboard boxes, and they're just gonna wheel it to, I assume, load it onto a boat, and then take it out of the city and take it to the dump or whatever they've got on the mainland. And that's got to make things super expensive. Because it's not just like driving a truck around, throwing it in, crushing the trash, and then you can collect a lot of it. These guys are going with just baskets, basically. And you're going to have to pay them by the hour or whatever to collect all that trash and then move it onto a boat, which is more expensive than a truck, and then move that someplace, probably to a truck, to then take it and actually get rid of it. And it makes sense that things here can be quite expensive. I think that the taxes are probably fairly high to help support all of that infrastructure that has to take place. And just shipping things in and out is expensive for the restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why it feels like that sometimes you sit down at a restaurant, you're like, good Lord, this is expensive. But then you gotta think about, how did this pizza get here and how's that box getting out of here?
We've only walked maybe 10 minutes further, and we've hit a little bit of construction. It's got one dude, and they've already beaten to crap a whole bunch of concrete, and he's taking the concrete that is in chunks, putting it down this huge tube behind me onto this battle boat. And the battle boat is really just a construction boat. It's a boat that could go and do anything. Inside of the boat, there's a tub that we've dissected how this must work, and it has little holes on the top of each side that you could hook a crane to it and pull the tub out and move all the stuff. So they're gonna fill it up with this concrete, and then they'll pull the tub out and put it somewhere else. Either just dump it immediately or put it somewhere and put a new tub in there so that the battle boat can keep going.
We returned onto a little restaurant called Cafe Noir that is somewhat famous, I guess, for making sandwich and wrap style dishes. And we rolled over there this morning for an early lunch, and the door says they open at 11 and the girl inside says they open at 12, but they actually open at about 12:20. So we are like dying right now for some food because we haven't had even breakfast yet. And I ordered what is essentially like a sandwich in a thin bread, and it's got meat called speck that we had on our pizza last night, some cheese, and then something that they translated into English as pink sauce. And it's actually a fairly hefty chunk of a meal, and it was only €5, which is a pretty good steal for basically anything that'll fill you up in Venice. So
This sandwich, I think, is called a piadina.
a piadina?
Yeah.
Is that how we say it? Okay. So, and you asked her how to translate it, and she was like, piadina, like she didn't really know what to say, but I think you would just call it like a flatbread sandwich or something like that. Anyway, let's get in here. They made it fresh for me, even though they have some things in the window, like wraps and things. This was something that they made for me fresh, and it's warm, which is exciting. Dude, this is amazing. The meat, of course, is the same as we had on that pizza. It was really good. I know I've got stuff all over my face, but it's just gonna be a thing. But the cheese, and I guess a mixture of the pink sauce, whatever it is like a really strong flavor that kind of offsets the saltiness of the speck of the meat. And it's just really good. Oh God, I love a good sandwich. This is like kind of Reuben territory, because you've got that saltiness and then like a sauce that's like complementing it. It's like in that direction. It's like an Italian Reuben almost. And I love a Reuben.
I feel like it's an Italian Reuben meets a Mexican quesadilla.
That's not bad. Mexican quesadilla, Italian Reuben. Okay, that's the two things I love, so this is all right with me.
Wow. She really thought that I was going to eat all this sauce.
There you go, you're eating it. You're going to be in the shot, is that okay? Yeah. You don't have to say anything, but just don't pick your nose or anything. After I finished making the video about the Piadina, a guy came up to us and was like, hey, I heard you talking about the Piadina, and I had a little bit of information I could share, and I thought I'd pass that on to everybody else. He had mentioned that it is made of a flatbread, and that the reason that it is made of a flatbread is because it's like something that has come over from like the Middle East, basically. And that northern Italy was kind of a crossroads during the Crusades, so there was a lot of cultural exchange that ended up happening with everybody traveling back and forth. So that he said that the Piadina in itself is sort of like a northern Italian thing, which is kind of exciting because we've been eating a lot of pizza and people have told us over and over and over that's not something from Venice, but this is going to be our only stop in Italy, so we're going to eat some damn pizza. But I'm also happy that we hunted out something. Yeah, every day. Every day is pizza day. I'm happy that we were able to hunt out something that is also maybe a little bit more like localized from northern Italy. And I'm excited now after the pizza we've had to go try pizza in real pizza places in Italy at some point.
I feel like for the rest of my life, all life, everybody's just gonna say, no, that's not the real, that's not the best pizza. It's just a futile effort to try and have like,
well, we gotta find it. Where is the real pizza from? There's like a guy.
In your heart.
Gonna need a knife, dude.
Yeah, don't hurt me. We've gone from like lions to naked mermaids. I think it's a step up. Although this isn't quite like, doesn't look quite right.
The number two thing that you see after boats when you come to Venice is people sitting outside drinking orange drinks. And you're like, what is that? And then you realize it's kind of like the local alcohol. and it's called a spritz. And it's made of, help please.
Prosecco, which is kind of a champagne of some sort, or
Okay.
like a sparkling champagne, and Aperol, which is an aperitif of a
Rhubarb.
bunch
It's got
of
rhubarb in it.
rhubarb and friends of
But
rhubarb.
an alcoholic thing.
All made deliciousness and
they
some
hit it-
soda water.
Soda water. And there's a couple of different ways to make it, but I think the type we have is like the standard one. And in our case, they put an orange in it, but sometimes you'll see olives, like a green olive, and a stick on it. So what are we drinking to? This is quite a bit, by the way. Like, it's a lot of alcohol, I think, and
It was only two and a half
euro, which is
so
pretty cheap
I'm
for.
Not disappointed with that.
Yeah.
Drinking to
Orange drink.
orange drink.
Orange drink.
Well,
That's an
I
interesting.
can say that it doesn't taste like bullshit.
No, it's a bit. There's a little bit of something. I can see why an olive is in it. It's got that kind of like martini kind of nasal feeling in alcohol a little bit. So I can see why they would be complementing it with olives, because I feel like that would be a good like balance.
It's stronger than I thought, and
It's
I have
quite
a feeling
strong.
that the place that we're at, which is like, we were here a couple days ago and there were tons of people in the streets, and we decided maybe we should come back and try this place if we want to do spritz, because so many people are doing it.
It seems famous, kind of.
Yeah, it definitely seems famous, and I forgot what I was saying about it. I was saying that they're doing a good job making it strong.
And the spritz seems to be a thing that people are drinking in the afternoon. I haven't noticed it so much in the evenings, but when you're walking around like for lunchtime and stuff, I think people are starting their lunches by drinking these things like that. That's a nice looking shot, the way you got
I did that.
the orange in there.
Look at
Very
me.
nice composition.
I did a good job.
And something else that they will be eating at or enjoying during a spritz time is Chicchetti. And these are basically breads that have a various like random toppings. And sometimes it's fish, so we have one that has got salmon on it, and sometimes it's like a cheese-based thing, and we've got one that has, what is this, blue?
He said it was goat cheese,
cheese.
There might be more than one cheese on there, and strawberry.
Strawberry.
That's what he said.
That brown stuff is strawberry?
That's what I heard. I'm gonna find out.
But there's a lot of different varieties of this that you can try. And
It is strawberry.
it's strawberry? Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. And it's a lot of goat cheese. And the bread is really soft. You're gonna eat that whole mountain. Stole the whole mountain.
Wow. Dude, that's good.
You stole the whole mountain.
You can have the rest of it, it's good.
Mountain.
That's damn good.
Yeah.
How much
And-
were these things, do you know?
So 250. We paid a total of $7.80.
Okay.
So that means that these were $1.40 each.
That's not bad for a
No.
touristy town. And
In all honesty, we had sat there thinking like maybe we should come and get spritz and Chicchetti for lunch, and we both thought, probably can't get very well fed on that. But I think you
could.
actually could. Like if you came and you were willing to drop at least
20 euro.
€20 with drink included.
You'd walk out of here dizzy though. I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah. I think that we could do €20 and have a good foods.
I'm gonna jump into the salmon. I feel like both of our brains have slowed down a little bit. I
Yeah.
wonder why. I'm gonna try the salmon one.
Bread seems a little harder.
Your bread is definitely harder. It's still good, but it's expected. You expect these flavors. I think I like the other one more, just because like goat cheese and strawberry, that's a thing. The surprise hits you, and that gives it a little bit of extra points.
And that's the one that I just asked the man, like, give me your favorite.
Yeah, give me your favorite. And he was like, goat cheese and strawberry, of course. All right. Well,
Just slowing down.
all right, we're still feeling a little slow here, but we're getting a little slower.
Yeah, that's true.
We ordered a spritz with campari this time instead.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the olive action going on.
Yeah.
So what do we tap into now? Red drink?
To a complicated drink that I got. Yeah. Holy fuck.
I think the orange one might have been a little more palatable.
It's like whoa. It's kind of like a dirty martini.
Yeah.
It's like they put the brine in.
Whoa! I'm glad this is the second one.
You didn't even get any orange in yours, so.
No, I don't know why I didn't get any, but I got an olive, and I think that's going to be my saving grace.
Yeah. Thanks for watching our second video from Venice. If you missed the first part, check down below or on screen now for a link. If you'd like to help us keep making videos like this, check out our Patreon page, also linked below and on screen. Liking and commenting on our videos helps our channel grow, and subscribing will make sure you won't miss part 3 of Venice.